All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? We've got day 2 of Avatar previews. Not a lot today, so we're going to spend a little more time with each card. We don't have to rush through them like we did the whatever it was, like 40 from yesterday. But let's get into it and see what we've got today. Okay, I think this one was late yesterday after we were done recording, but this is a Sparring dummy. It is 1 and a green for a 1/3 Scarecrow with Defender. You can tap it to mill a card. You may put a land card milled this way into your hand. You gain 2 life if a lesson card was milled this way. So obviously, if you're doing self-mill stuff, this is fine. It is only 1 card, where generally the cards you want to play in self-mill decks are going to be 3 or 4 cards most of the time. It does have defenders, so you can't really attack with it, but it is a Scarecrow, which some of you like having those in Commander. There are some Scarecrow decks. Not a ton, but some. I don't know, this just feels kind of okay to me. Even if I'm playing a lesson deck, and I put a lesson in the yard and it's milled, I gain 2, that's cool. But is that worth it? I don't really know. I mean, I guess there's probably a specific deck that wants this, that is trying to put a bunch of lessons in the graveyard. And because we did see that there were some cards yesterday that make lessons cost less out of the graveyard and that sort of thing. So maybe it's possible, but on its face, it probably goes in one very specific deck. This one is a war balloon. It's 2 and a red for a 4/3 vehicle. It does have flying. You can pay 1 to put a fire counter on it. As long as this vehicle has 3 or more fire counters on it, it's an artifact creature. It also crews for 3. I like this one, actually. Now, the crew cost can be a little tough for some decks at 3, but it's pretty easy to just get 4 counters. I guess it has to be, what, 5 counters on it? No, 3, actually. So that's very easy. If you have 3 mana to cast this, you have 3 mana to put counters on it the next turn. So this could just be a reasonable card on its own. Like, you are sometimes crewing it and attacking. If your opponent sweeps the board, then like, cool, you attack for 4. Obviously, this is better in a limited environment than constructed, but I think this could see some fringe constructed play. This isn't completely crazy. All right, this is Foggy Swamp Visions. 1 black black for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, Waterbend X. Exile X target creature cards from graveyards. For each creature exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of your next end step, sacrifice those tokens. Wow. So this is interesting. So you could pay, let's say, 5, right? Because that's a reasonable amount. So you play this for 3. You waterbend 2. I mean, technically, if you have creatures out, you could waterbend for a lot more. So, I mean, I guess this could be 3 or 4 pretty easily. But then you get rid of that many creatures from graveyards, and then for each one exiled, you make a copy that lasts until the end of turn. This is a weird card. This actually feels, this could be a neat addition for the decks that are already playing, like the Cavaro or Ultimate Spider-Man Graveyard Reanimator thing, because you usually have some number of creatures in play. So this can function as a Reanimator type spell of saying, all right, I'm going to pay 3, but then tap 2 creatures I already have out, or 3 creatures I already have out, and then use those to get 3 things that you have until end of turn. And you get all that value, right? If one's like an Overlord that mills stuff and you get to turn a creature, you get that. If one's a Cavaro, you get to copy something, you get that. If one's the demon that returns us from the graveyard, you get that. Because then the demon will die, but you still get the things back in play, right, from your graveyard. So there's a lot of things this could do. This could find its way into a few decks. It might be sneaky good. The Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. I assume we were going to see a lot of this character. A 1 and a green for a 2/2. When this creature enters, you create a food. That makes sense. Whenever you sacrifice the food, you can search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. If you search your library this way, put this creature on the bottom of its owner's library, then shuffle. So this is cute. It's a 2/2 for 2 that gets you a food, but when you crack a food, you get to search for a land. However, you can't keep doing that because whenever you do that, this now ends up in your library. If you search your library this way, put this on the creature. So I guess technically, if you have 3 food, let's say, and you have 6 mana available, you could sacrifice each one, responding to the other one, so that you would still get the land triggers from each of these. And then this would end up on the bottom of your library. So that's the only way I think you could get multiple lands. You'd have to activate them all at once. But even individually, to gain 3, search for land, this goes into your library, maybe you draw it later. I don't think this is particularly a bad thing. Also, interestingly, if you have multiples of these and you crack your food, one food can go get you 2 land because each one would trigger. So that's kind of neat. So there's probably a few little weird corner cases you can do with this card. Could be fun in Commander if you're already playing a food deck too. A very interesting card. I don't think it's particularly powerful, but it's interesting. The Planetarium of Tong. 6 colorless mana, or 6 generic mana, if you will. It's a legendary artifact. You can pay 1 and scry 2. And then whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. And it says you look at that card after you scry or surveil. This card's actually really good. I mean, we already had a couple of cards recently that if you were to, I think, scry or surveil, you get to put a token on something or whatever it was. One of them might let you draw cards. But either way, this actually letting you just play a card for free after you scry, right? So, or surveil. So this means you get to put the best thing on top of whatever remains, and then you just get it for free. Like, this is good. Now, admittedly, it does cost 6. It is legendary, so you're not going to go tossing a bunch of these into a deck. But even as a 1 or 2 of, if you're playing even, I don't know, 8 to 12 cards that have scry or surveil in some way, or even an ability that lets you just tap and scry your top card or whatever, then you're just getting free stuff constantly. Like, this is actually a really cool card. I expect this will see some type of weird deck at some point. But yeah, really cool ability. Hey, it's Master Bumi. Bumi Unleashed. 3 red, green for a human noble ally. It's a 5/4. So you got a 5/4 for 5 with trample. When it enters Earthbend 4, so you turn a land into a 4/4 effectively. And whenever Bumi deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Only land creatures can attack during that combat phase. Oh, this is interesting. So you get a 5/4. Actually, this is really good. You get a 5/4 and a 4/4 for 5 mana. And even if they kill your 5/4, you still get to keep the 4 counters on your 4/4 on your land. So that's actually really big. And then when you attack, you get to attack again, but only with land. So what they've done here is basically made Bumi, as he is in the show, the king of the earthbenders, right? So if you have a bunch of things that are earthbending, putting counters on lands and doing all that stuff, then you get to just attack a big attack with all these extra things by the time Bumi shows up. If not, you just get a 5/4 and another blocker. Plus Bumi has trample, which is actually really good. So yeah, this is just a legit, real creature. I mean, this could even be one of your upper end creatures in a, well, I say that. I was going to say in a Gruul type deck, but you're probably playing other things. As you do have flying dragons with haste and whatever that you could play at 5. So yeah, this might mostly be for an earthbending deck. But because you get 2 bodies, basically you get a 9/8 worth of power and toughness, with half of that being trample for 5 mana, it could just show up in a deck somewhere. Ty Lee, Artful Acrobat, 2 and a red for a 3/2 human performer. With prowess, and whenever Ty Lee attacks, you can pay 1. If you do, target creature can't block this turn. Alright, I mean, this is just decent. Does it show up anywhere? I don't know. 3 for a 3/2, not the most exciting thing, especially considering we have Screaming Nemesis and things like that you could play at 3. But it's not bad. Just making something not block and it has prowess, sure. But in general, probably not going to see a lot of 60 card play. And we have Diligent Zookeeper, 3 and a green for a 4/4 human citizen ally. Each non-human creature you control gets +1/+1 for each of its creature types, to a maximum of 10. Oh, okay. This gets really interesting. So a creature can't be bigger than 10. And I don't think that's an accident that they chose that. The reason being, we're going to be going back to Lorwyn as the first set of 2026. In Lorwyn, there are changelings, and those changelings have every creature type. So technically, if you have this, this is like the biggest changeling lord ever, right? Assuming they have reasonably costed changelings at each mana value, you can go 1, 2, 3 changelings, turn 4, play Diligent Zookeeper. Those things you played on turns 1, 2, and 3 are all 10 plus. That's crazy. like if this works the way it's intended, this card is wild and probably gains a ton of value when Lorwyn or Reimagine, Unleashed, whatever it is, whatever the set is. But whenever we go do that, this card likely increases in value a bunch. So you might want to get them now if you find a deal on them. But even then, also remember that several cards that just came out in Spider-Man are like human, spider, something, right? Very few, or human, spider, hero, I think is what a lot of them are. So, oh, but that says non-human, so it wouldn't even trigger for the Spider-Man things. It'd have to be non-human things. All right, so that's fair. So it's going to trigger for a few things in this set, but a lot of things in other sets. So yeah, this is... Oh, actually, I guess this wouldn't work for changelings, because changelings are also human. Oh, that's funny. So I wonder what the maximum of 10 is on here for. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, there's a reason that has a cap of 10. So I guess you just can't give something... Well, but again, if you give something every creature type, it also is a human, so then it no longer gets the bonus. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to think on this one. But if you figure out where this card goes, you're probably giving every creature a minimum of like +3 or +4. And that's worth it for 4 mana. And the card itself is a 4/4. But alright, it looks like that's all that was officially previewed today. I don't know. Which of these today did you think was your favorite card? Because I think there were several. Even though it's a small list of cards, there are several very interesting and really powerful things that got previewed today. Don't remember to forget to ring-a-ling the ding-a-lings and all the fun stuff so you don't miss these previews. Also, check out the gameplay videos. We have a lot going on the channel right now. But that's all I have for now. We'll see you next time.